The same prestige that grants a leader authority often acts as a blindfold. We build structures of influence and ceremony only to see them fracture because we forgot to account for the mounting weight of our own pride. In the ancient Bhagavata Purana, this tension is embodied by a figure named Daksha. He is a powerful leader, deeply invested in his reputation, and convinced that his social standing is a direct reflection of his spiritual worth. Daksha holds the title of Prajapati. Under the direction of Brahma, his specific role is to expand the physical population of the universe, a position that grants him immense governance over the material world and its inhabitants. We can view the conflict as two poles on an axis. One pole is Daksha, representing worldly achievement. He surrounds himself with layers of hierarchy, protocol, and recognition. The opposite pole is Lord Shiva, who lives as an ascetic entirely outside social expectations. These ways of existing eventually collide. Daksha requires constant validation to sustain his ego, while Shiva remains perfectly still, centered in a detachment making him immune to Daksha's influence. The collision occurs at a massive gathering of the gods. As Daksha enters the assembly hall, the entire room rises to honor him, but Shiva, absorbed in his own meditation, remains seated. Daksha views this silence as a calculated insult. He erupts, publicly mocking Shiva's appearance and his rejection of societal norms. He then uses his ritual authority to pronounce a curse, decreeing that Shiva will no longer receive any offerings from future sacrifices. Shiva offers no defense. He simply leaves the arena without a word. While Shiva moves on immediately, Daksha remains preoccupied with the perceived slight, allowing his resentment to dictate his future actions. Daksha's obsession with his status creates a profound spiritual vacuum. His rituals are no longer performed as acts of service to the universe. They have become performances designed to validate his own importance. Daksha eventually organizes a second yajna, a complex Vedic fire ritual intended to align the cosmos. However, he organizes the ceremony specifically to exclude Shiva, pointedly leaving his own daughter, Shiva's wife Sati, off the guest list. This blueprint of the arena reveals the problem. The external geometry is perfect, but the center is a hollow void. By removing the element of divine connection, Daksha has turned a sacred ceremony into a hollow shell. Sati finds herself caught in the middle. Shiva warns her that her father's pride has made the environment dangerous, yet her loyalty to her family compels her to visit the sacrificial arena anyway. Upon her arrival, Sati finds that her father's arrogance has silenced everyone present. Daksha continues his verbal assault on Shiva, and the assembled gods, fearing Daksha's status, refuse to intervene. Sati sees the destruction her father has wrought. His pursuit of ego has broken the most basic bonds of family and respect, leaving her with no place in either world. Sati chooses to end her association with her father's lineage. She sits in meditation, invokes the inner fire of yoga, and peacefully dissolves her mortal body into embers before the stunned assembly. When Shiva learns of Sati's death, his period of quiet detachment ends. His grief takes the form of a cosmic fury that threatens the stability of the entire ritual. Shiva tears a lock of hair from his head and strikes it against the earth. From that single point of contact, a massive warrior named Virabhadra materializes, a personification of Shiva's wrath, sent to end the corruption of the sacrifice. Virabhadra descends on the arena with the force of a storm. The ritual structures are leveled, the defenders are scattered, and Daksha is struck down, his head severed as the final consequence of his actions. The outcome is a stark reminder of balance. When an individual attempts to use the sacred as a shield for their own pride, the very forces they claim to serve return in a destructive form to restore order. With the sacrifice in ruins and Daksha dead, the surviving gods approach Shiva. They ask him to show mercy and find a way to heal the rift in the universe. Shiva reveals that his actions are a reflection of those who approach him. He acts as a mirror. To those who bring arrogance, he presents destruction. But to those who seek peace, he offers compassion. Shiva restores Daksha to life, but he provides a physical requirement for his new existence. He replaces Daksha's head with that of a goat, a creature that serves as a permanent symbol of the humility he once lacked. This transformation follows the mechanics of karma. The consequences of Daksha's deeds have reshaped his physical form, forcing him to reconcile his internal pride with a state of outward docility. Now awakened to his error, Daksha completes the sacrifice with a heart full of remorse. The ritual finally succeeds because the intention of the performer is now aligned with the sacred nature of the ceremony. This cycle is a recurring theme. Daksha's story is part of a larger wheel where the soul must repeatedly navigate power and renewal. The wheel continues turning. The text suggests Daksha returns in later ages, integrating these lessons across lifetimes. The story illustrates that power and knowledge are merely materials for the ego to use, unless they are tempered by the type of detachment Shiva represents. Daksha's journey suggests that grace remains available to anyone willing to recognize their mistakes. The gate to transformation is open, but only for those willing to set aside the weight of their own pride to walk through it.